Well, thank you again for coming on, Sister E. Appreciate it.
Oh, much
M-
love.
Minister Yakoba.
Yeah, this was a great discussion. I know I came in hours late, but one thing I want to say is, being gaslighted for many years, and and if y'all noticed lately, I've been on Eurocentric Christianity lately. Is because when you start reading scripture, you realize that what they taught us is a lie or a half truth, which makes it a lie, right? And even the whole idea of you should feel bad defending yourself or defending your family, what you know instinctively to do, they tell you is wrong, and that you shouldn't hate the evil that's done to you, but love the evil people who are doing it to you. Does that make sense? Even the animals protect
Hallelujah.
their own, right? Even the animals protect their own. But we've been so brainwashed. We supposed to turn the other cheek because they took that scripture out of context. And then they hate us and tell us we crazy and we're in a cult. Because the natural thing is to protect your own and defend your own. Even your ancestors did the same thing in the scriptures, right? They went in there and took out them whole nations of people because they were evil and doing wicked and attacking Israel and the Amalekites and all this stuff. But then that don't matter no more, right? I'm like, this whole thing it's about family. And if you don't protect your family, you're worse than an infidel. And that don't just mean your immediate family. That means all of you all right here today, all of the Israelites, right? The Negroes, right? I ain't talking about the 12 tribes chart, right? It makes sense that you take care
Hallelujah.
of your own. And if you continue to allow people to brainwash you, because one thing, and I'm gonna say this, and I was watching Berean because some stuff was going on over there, and I mentioned this before how Shafter Berean, at one minute he was a Christian, then he was an Israelite, now he a Christian again. They got the dude confused, right? He's confused. And what instinctively is to protect your
He
own
is.
and to look after your own and protect your family, and then if you take care of your house first, then you let everybody else in. When Yeshua came, what did he say? I come but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why? Because that's family. I take care of family first. They
That's
didn't mess with our
interesting,
mind.
Yakoba.
Huh?
Yakoba, they're accepting European jury, but they're kicking him out because of this whole DNA conversation. There, some of them want to go, and I'm not knocking. You know me, I'm not knocking anybody, but they're kicking him out because they're saying, "Yo, for some reason he thinks, oh, my DNA doesn't match." That's so sad.
It
That's so
is.
Who's
sad.
It's
getting kicked
That's
out?
crazy.
What I
sad.
missed? Who?
It's
Talking
about
about
Shafter
Shafter
Berean.
Brain.
Oh, okay.
They got that
Well,
dude
he was
confused.
very, and I feel so bad for him.
Yep.
Honestly, my heart goes out to Shafter Berean because he's being pushed every which way, and nobody's noticing that this brother is just seeking information. I ain't even mad at Shaft anymore. I used to be irritated by him, but honestly, yesterday he was asking some questions, and someone came attacking him because he was asking a simple question. I saw some of it. And I said, and I had to cut it off because it made me sick to my stomach. But this man is so confused because they telling him you don't have this haplotype, you ain't a part of the group, but they accepting everybody else. And now this brother's like, I'm not Israel, y'all. Yes, you are. I
Exactly.
want to tell him you are Israel. Don't let these folks tell you you not. I need to
Exactly.
talk to him because I'm like, don't you let anybody tell you you're not Israel.
That was really
Ignore these
sad,
folks.
Sister E, because he like, yeah, my DNA say I'm not it. I'm like, see, these people didn't messed y'all up. Leave the
That
DNA
was the
alone.
purpose of them DNA fools.
Yeah,
That's the whole reason they exist, is to use DNA as a weapon, not to prove who Israel is, but for them to choose who they
Yes.
dictate is Israel.
You know what?
man.
I don't care. You know what? I'm dropping this whole thing because yet I'm not dropping. You get what I'm saying? If that brother he is part of diaspora, period. Diaspora. I'm sorry, I'm country. Diaspora. If he is Israel, and I want to tell him so bad, and I hope he's watching this, bruh, you are Israel. Don't you let anybody tell you because he's so confused, and they let him go too, and they would rather for him to say he's not than he is and don't even understand what we're saying. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I'm so
Yeah,
mad at how they doing that, brother.
and see, that's the thing is as I mentioned before, and I'll end it here, Brother Karras, is that the devil has set traps at every corner, out of every door, right, of the awakening. And there's the DNA guys, there's the Christian guys, the urban apologist guys, there's the chemic guys, there's all of these different traps for when you're coming out of the deep sleep, coming into the awakening, to lead you astray, to lead you to Mormonism, to lead you to all foolishness. And this is where we at today. It's like at the greatest of the awakening is the greatest of the deception.
And see, I don't want to say this group is a joke because I don't want to get curious, put on the hot seat. But I'm going to say it, curious. YAP is a joke. They are deceptive, and they are
Come
full
on,
of the
Sister
devil.
E, you know I'm with you
The
on that.
devil sent them. You know, I ain't scared. The thing is, they think because I've been silent that I'm scared. I've been silent because I'm focused on other things as it pertains to our community. That I put my sword down for a second, but understand that my sword ain't down because I'm scared. Understand that. So if they watch it, let them know, because I'm sitting silent don't mean that I'm scared. See, they got the right one with me. I don't care nothing about those. They are woo 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3
See
2
why I
1.
roll
I
with
got to
Sister
breathe.
E and Sister Chantel? That's my sisters there. Y'all see?
Man, I'm sitting here like y'all think y'all walking around. Okay, just curious. I ain't finna get you put on the hot seat. I'm finna be quiet. I'm gonna go rant later. I'm a rant later.
Yeah, do it on your channel. You're gonna get me in trouble. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to
Okay,
coordinate.
I'm gonna be nice.
Coordinate.
I'm gonna be nice, but understand that a tisk is coming very soon. And I be quiet now because I'm gonna be nice.
All right. You know what that was? That was that flying guillotine right there.
Okay, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice just for the day. Okay.
She was taking heads off with that flying guillotine. Oh man.
See, Sister E and Sister Chantel gonna have my back when we walking through them jungles, getting rid of all the colonizers.
Hell. To tell you. Hallelujah.
All right, so I was gonna say one thing, but Sister E, I think mentioned my little pet peeve, right? My little pet peeve is the YAP gang. I have to hold my nose when I speak about them.
Oh, geez, yes.
And
y'all just throwing my platform. All right.
Look,
no.
man,
Karras like y'all put a target on me.
I just gotta, man. It's like these guys straight up liars, and I mean, they don't even hide it. One day they say the sky is blue, the next thing they say is red. They say the water ain't wet, and you supposed to believe it. I mean, we got whole videos on your shoe talking about who the true Sephardic Jews are, and he said they black. Today he said they white. He said Ashkenaz are haplogroup J, and they Israel, and somehow related to the Negro, but don't have no tying autosome. I'm like, can anybody see how they lie? It's not hard. It drives me crazy. These guys don't even know the science. It's like, it's insane. What I do like is that they admit that we teach exactly what Aaron Elhake teaches, who's a PhD scholar. I'm like, they pretty much said we right? They pretty much said we right. Nobody's up here trying to admit who we are, even though their documents admit who we are. We got other nations saying who we are. Even some of the Ish people admit who we are. No one wants to go on national TV and say it, right? I mean, officially that we are the original people. They want to say, yeah, we Jewish, just like the Chinese Jews, right? Which is crazy. But yeah, we not Jewish. Let's get that straight. We not Jewish. We Israel. We Judeans, right? But we Jewish is, and I don't want to get you, I'm not going to get you blocked, but I'm just saying that is a Gentile religion. That's what that is, right? We're Israelites, the people who are descendants of Abraham. And nobody can deny that. Nobody can prove it wrong. No one has even really successfully attempted to prove us wrong, because to prove us wrong, they'd have to go and deal with all the evidence we put out there, all their own documentation, all the DNA that's got Ethiopian Jew in it and Moroccan Jew in it, and all, we got all this hardcore evidence. No one can say nothing. So clearly the Most High is moving. Clearly it's time for our deliverance. 2019 came and the world is upside down. As Minister Yacoba said, there ain't no going back to the way it was pre-2019. Everyone knows that. We can see that. So expect your deliverance, but be prepared for a hardship before that. Thanks, Brother Karras. I enjoyed the conversation.
All right. I thought that I was gonna, that hey, I thought it was gonna be all chill and kumbaya, and then no, last 15 minutes. I done did it.
Brother Karras, you better expect a hit video on you.
It's gonna be a hit piece. Look, they can dig all up. They're gonna be wiping, in different places.
Karras, Covenant Awakening and DNA. That's gonna be the topic. And at least you guys are, have your answers in a more thorough. But a lot of the people that's teaching, the haplogroup are not presenting what you guys are saying. So when we say, autosomal is better, it's because when we know and I'm not saying in your scenario because you guys at least are looking deeper. As a scientific exercise, I'm not saying this is not valid, and I think you guys are doing a good job understanding this. But I think maybe you guys have a better understanding of what we were saying and the issues. I hope because it's very complex.
Money. If we stick with the DNA, even Jewish people are surprisingly seeing, like, oh, these black people might actually be able to prove something with this DNA stuff.
And look, we are totally cool with that. Y'all can be the DNA experts, but we don't want to touch it.
So all of these things count. So we take all these things in consideration. So this is why, like we know you guys are really good in prophecy. We're trying to dig in another area. So we don't take it as a religion. We don't take it as, we just, like, if we're going to talk about this, then we got to be thorough. It might seem like we're being religiously zealous about it, but we're not. This is not our religion.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Because my mic
I wanted to say one thing. We hear you, sister. That religion thing was not about y'all. We were not. It was not y'all. Guys, go ahead. Guys, when I said that, I was not even talking about y'all. To be honest, I didn't know y'all existed, to be honest. And so, I wasn't talking about y'all because I didn't know what y'all work was. But, what I was talking about, there's a lot of random guys that go on Berean and they just throwing out words and haplogroups and just making these generic statements and not doing what you guys are doing right now. And so, we're saying if you're not going to answer these, look at the questions, right? Like I said, the scientific method wasn't being applied, right? The first thing was to, ask questions and ask more questions. And that includes the intention of the people sampling, the area they sampled, and I'm like, that's why I said, it was like all these words were being spoken, haplogroup this, that, in this area, and the Tufi, and this and that, but there was no scientific application to it, right? And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying the randoms who came on there. I'm talking about Abu. It was just throwing this intellectual, exercise without putting any detail or bringing, as we like to say, bringing any receipts. I'm glad you guys have some receipts. Because we're not, as you know, we're not interested in DNA,
I don't know. I'm just making something up.
I think we should go live with this. I think we should allow everybody to come on and speak with that, because the whole ugly part of everything that's going on is we going live. Everybody.
Well, fellas, we were played against each other, right? Because, Yeah.
You know. And I tried to avoid that in the beginning, but it may have came off wrong, so I do apologize for that.
Yeah. Because we were not trying to own the whole science, because we pulled away from it 2 years ago. But Abu came in there, and then Orthodox backed Abu, and then Orthodox created a straw man argument that he tried to make us defend. And I'm like, we were never trying to own this. I totally respect where you guys are coming from. I'm glad we were able to have the conversation, and I hope you understand what we were coming from with autosomal, and maybe, that there are some valid arguments there. Not that we were saying it's the only way to go, but we have some issues when we're looking at the data, because, from like my brother said, from a computer programming standpoint, for us to solve our problem, a question produces another question until we find an answer, and produce another question until we can get a synthesis of a common ground. So, that's what led us to say, there's some issues. But I mean, I'm glad you guys have some answers. And I'm willing to, back you guys on that. Cause tell you the truth, when Yeshua embarrassed G-Con, I was on his side. But when I got attacked on Berean show, that's when I had a problem. Right. And so, I'm good with what y'all doing. And I think we should have had that conversation instead of going on Berean, because Berean is the author of mess.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I go up there because in the midst of the mess, somebody got to have a little bit of reasoning when it comes to our community. Because he'll go find the worst representative of our community to go up there, and then I'll be like, this is not how we're going to do it. We're going to make sure we have the right representative up there. So he is the first one.
Yeah, and if anybody ever like let's say you're on Berean TV and someone brings up DNA, I think it's best when it comes to stuff like that, just say, hey, we got Israelites in the field of genetics. Go talk to, Yeshua, all the Hebrew of Israel.
Expert.
Yeah.
Y'all the expert. We gonna send them our way because we don't have to do it.
Not only that, some people, and I'm sure there may be some listening, who have gotten multiple haplogroup results. I know one guy got an A, he got an E, and one other, he got 3 different haplogroup results. Now we can obviously say something was wrong there, right? So once again, some of you guys who think you E probably might have been an error right there, right? But as I said, the experts ultimately decide what box they're going to put you in. It's not that you 100% match every time. They decide if what they see warrants you going in a specific bucket.
Well, my response to that would be this. First of all, with Y haplogroup assignment and X haplogroup assignment, they're not pulling the numbers or pulling the names out of thin air. They're basing it off of the SNPs and STRs. So if you have the same SNPs and STRs as somebody, again, how do you inherit DNA? Through sex. So that means a line of descent or common ancestry. If you and I share the same terminal SNP U290, that means you and I share a paternal ancestor that had U290, that SNP or mutation. That's how they do it. Now, autosomal DNA has a 76% accuracy rate. Y chromosome, X chromosome, that's 99.9%. You're not going to get more accurate than that because we can determine who you come from by the mutation accumulation, not just mutation, accumulation. Meaning, look at it like this. You have a stack of red Legos. That's haplogroup E. You add a orange Lego on top of it. Now, that's the mutation at the end of it. That would be my mutation, U290. Now, anything with that stack of red Legos descend from the same basal group, which is what we call a haplogroup E. There's accumulation of mutations that you have that are similar to other people groups, and that shows who you descend from. So when we get to the biblical argument and you say, hey, let's go off prophecy. Let's go off the people that went through the slave trade. The slave trade is a variegated group. There's many people that went through the slave trade that are not directly descended from a common ancestral pool. For example, the Chadic people, RV88. We have some people to this day, African Americans, that come from RV88. we do not descend from the same ancestors as them. So to say just simply because they went through a slave trade or they follow your interpretation of the curses does not mean they share common ancestry. I say this all the time. Common experience does not equal common ancestry.
Well, your assumption is that the Chads are not descendants of one of Jacob's sons. See, that's the mistake. You can't prove it. You made an assumption, and in reality, the Chads who have been in Africa for thousands of years and just happen to have a different haplogroup still may be a descendant of one of Jacob's sons. You guys make the faulty assumption and you can't back it up. And that, as I said, go pull up, let's go find a scientific paper, and I guarantee you, you're going to see hypothesis, theory, and that's going to be the terminology. You guys have taken this like a religion, and your science has become your religion, and this is not how you're supposed to approach it.